Hey y'all, welcome back to Leslie's Mature Makeup and Beauty. Today I'm going to retry some stuff that I didn't like, and I am going to do some stuff different on one side versus the other just to try to give certain products a better chance for me to like it this go round. So we're going to start with eyes, and I know a lot of these products are probably products that people love, but they just didn't work good for me and my skin type. So if you love something, it doesn't mean I think it's bad, and these products are not necessarily bad, they just didn't work good for me. So I'm going to start first with e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. This just seemed like to me it made my eyelids look kind of dry. And I'm going to use this on my good eye. I'm just warming it up with my finger. So I felt like that applied better that way. And then on my other eye, I'm going to use an eye primer that I actually like because I have an eyeshadow palette that we're going to retry today too. Let's see if I can blend that in a little bit with a brush. So how's everybody's week going? Yeah. I can already tell. Probably not going to love that. We're going to keep going. We're going to, hopefully we can make something here work. And on my other eye, I'm going to use my NYX Ultimate Shadow and Liner Primer because I do like this one. I have got a face primer, and I'm only going to put this on one side because the foundation that I have, I'm going to use my Maybelline Blur Stick, which I love, on my right side, so I'm only going to put this on the left side. And it's the NYX. This is not the right one. Hang on, let me grab the right one. It's the Marshmallow Primer. I haven't tried that one. NYX Marshmallow Primer is the one I thought I was grabbing. I got that other one in a little sample that I haven't tried it yet. But this is the Marshmallow Primer. I just didn't feel like it did anything really. So I'm going to put this on the left side of my face. And I know a lot of people really like this. I just didn't see a big difference. It smells delicious. And I'm just going to focus this where, you know, my pores are the largest. Because that's one of the things that, with this foundation, that I'm going to use that is really why I didn't like it. I felt like it emphasized my texture, and then it gets super shiny throughout the day. And then on the other side, I'm going to use the primer that I love, my Maybelline Blur Stick, because this actually does blur my pores. You may not be able to with that light, but you can see I'm more shiny. This side is more shiny than this side. Alright, so we'll do eyes. And I know a lot of people love these little palettes. And this is the only one of them that I have because I didn't, you know, like I said, I didn't really like it. It's the WetnWild Color Icon. And this one is Walking on Eggshells. And really, the shade that I didn't like the most was this kind of camel color shade. I felt like it really emphasized every wrinkle and crinkle on my eyelids. This NYX side is still just a little bit tacky. So we'll start over on the left eye. I'm just going to go in with my little Real Techniques crease brush. And there's a good bit of powder kick up in the pan, but that's not really something that bothers me too much because I usually do my eyes first anyway. And I think this color is not very flattering on me either. Just the undertone of it. So I think that might be part of the reason I didn't really like this little shadow palette either. But now there's a couple of shades in here that I do like, so I won't get rid of it probably, just because this white shimmer that's in here is a really pretty satiny color, and I really like it. I'm just trying to kind of build a new crease here. Alright, we're going to go over to the right eye. Oh yeah, that left eye's looking terrible. Because I don't know if you can see, this one looks much crinklier than this one. And I can't remember what eye primer I used the first time I used this little palette. And it could have been this e.l.f. that I used it. That's why I didn't. Maybe why I didn't like it as good. So that's got our transition shade. I don't know if y'all can tell or if you can see the difference in the texture from one eye to the other, but I can definitely, like, this one is still showing up a little more texture than I like, but this one is really bad. And I think I'm just going to take this kind of satiny, kind of darker brown shade and put kind of in the outer corner area. And we'll do the same thing on the other eye. And even that shade kind of emphasizes my texture a little. And then I'm going to take this really light satiny, it looks just a matte white, but it's got a nice little satin sheen to it. I'm going to put that on my lid. And I'm just going to use my ring finger like usual. And I did make sure when I did my skincare to put a little extra eye cream on to try to let that kind of sink in and just to make sure my lids were as hydrated as possible. Okay, I'm going to take a little fluffy brush and just kind of blend those edges a little bit. Yeah, I think it's that camel-y shade that I just don't love. Like I said, the other shimmers and that deeper brown, you know, it was fine. I didn't mind it. Alright, so now we're going to move on to some foundation. And for that, I have the Urban Decay Hydromaniac. I have the shade light medium. Yeah, 41 light medium. And I did look on Urban Decay's website just to see how they recommend to apply, in case, you know, maybe there's a better way than what I did. And they do recommend applying with your fingers. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little on my palette. Which it did say you can, you know, to apply with your fingers. Then if you want to build up the coverage level, you could buff in a little extra with the brush. But I don't normally like using a brush for foundation. I'm really more of a sponge girl. And this shade may be a little bit deep for me right now. I have mostly normal skin. I do get a little bit oily sometimes in my T-zone. And I think I will take my sponge and just kind of press over it a little bit just to make sure I don't have any extra or excess product. Still pretty shiny, but I still feel like this side is not as, you know, those pores are not as prominent. And then I've got a color corrector and a concealer, and I'm only going to use the color corrector on one side so that I can give this concealer a better shot on the other eye. And this is the Flower by Drew light peach corrector. And I just felt like this kind of emphasized my texture under my eyes. I'm just going to warm it up on my hand a little bit. Just feels kind of dry. And I'm just going to mostly focus this in this inner, might need a little brush, in the inner, the little cavern that I've got there. Let's see if I can pick up a little of this brush. I can't, my fingers are so big I can't quite get them in that area as good. That's one of the things I really like about the color corrector that I've got from Neutrogena. It's got that little doe foot, so I can really get it in there where I want it. Yeah, I remember now, and it just feels like it didn't do, well, it did. It does help some. You can see a difference how deep this is versus this one. How deep, how dark. But I'm just going to do that on the one side because, like I said, one of the reasons I didn't like this was not that it didn't color correct, it was just that it made my texture look worse. And then for concealer, I have the Tarte Ultra Creamy the Shape Tape, and this was, I've tried the original Shape Tape and it was just too drying under my eyes, and then this was kind of the same way. It just emphasized my texture and it didn't wear well. It kind of crinkled up through the day. It's been a minute since I used it, so just trying to shake it up a little bit. You know, it's got the huge doe foot there, and I've got light medium beige, I think. Because I don't like to put a ton of concealer under my eyes. It just doesn't bode well for me. I'm just going to blend this out. And I'll use a brush on one side, and then the other side I'll just use my fingers and see if that makes a difference. And this is very full coverage, and I know a lot of people like it. A lot of people love the original Shape Tape. It just has not worked out for me. Actually, the side I blended in with a brush looks a little bit better, but I'm going to go over with my sponge and just make sure if there's any excess there that I've picked it up and really press everything in. It looks a little bit better, but it's still, I still don't love it. I don't know if this camera is going to pick it up in here, but it just kind of looks dry and crepey. And we'll go outside, you know, when I get everything on, and we'll take a look, you know, in real light. I don't have an eyeliner or a mascara that I don't like, so I'm just going to use the Essence that I tried the other day. You know, I didn't get to wear that too long, and then the second day that I wore it, my eyes were watery, so I did get some smudging, but I can't say that that's necessarily from the mascara. It could have just been, you know, from my eyes watering. The only bronzer that I have that I didn't love was this that I tried the other day from Essence. And I did scrape off the top just in case maybe there was some kind of an overspray, and it did look like it had a little bit of hard pan. So we're going to give this a go. Going to take some on a big fluffy brush. I think that probably made a difference, scraping off the top, because it looks like I'm actually picking up a little something on my brush today. And this wasn't terrible, it just didn't give me a lot of color. And I don't really love the smell of it. It's kind of like a weirdly fake coconut smell. I think that's definitely given me I think I'm definitely getting more color than I did the other day. So maybe there was some kind of a weird, you know, overspray or something on it. Because I definitely, especially you can see, you know, the forehead, you can actually see that I've got a little something there. And then the next thing I've got is, and I know everybody loves these and somebody's probably going to come at me, but it's the e.l.f. Putty Blush. Now I love the little quad that I have that had, I think it was 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlight. And I didn't like the highlight in that, but the blush in that cream formula was really good. But I've got the shade, oh, it's so tiny on here, I don't know. I want to say Turks and Caicos or something. Or is it even on here anymore? I don't know. I think that's what color it is. But the little brush that I like to apply cream cheek products with is the little e.l.f. Putty Primer Applicator. So I think what I'm going to do is dig my brush in here and maybe put some on the back of my hand and try to warm it up. Because the thing I didn't like about these is just I feel like I don't get any color payoff on the skin. Like you can see, I've got some on my brush. And they didn't last very well. I'm getting some color. Maybe I didn't use this brush last time I used this this blush. And I feel like it, from what I remember, it wore off pretty quick. You know, which blush is always, you know, like the first thing that kind of fades. But I'm really having to dig my brush in here to get some color. And I think these are probably great for people that like a more sheer blush. But it just didn't seem like it wore very well on me. But I feel like I was able to get more color with this little putty applicator. Putty primer applicator. Yeah, because I definitely don't think I got that much color last time I used this. Alright, and then I have got a highlighter. And this, I just can't really remember. It's from WetnWild. It's the color Precious Petals. It's their Mega Glow highlighting powder. I just really couldn't remember how I felt about this. So I thought we would just give it a try today so we can see. I'm just going to use my regular highlighter brush that I normally use, and I have washed my brushes since my last. Was it glittery? I can't remember. Yeah, I feel like it looks kind of chunky. It's no Essence Pure Nude for sure. And maybe it just emphasizes my texture a little bit. I feel like that's probably why I don't reach for this one, because I felt like it emphasized my texture a little bit. I don't want to say more than I want, because I never want that, but... And I don't really have... Oh, I've got some powder. This is the Covergirl Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Pressed Powder. First couple of times I used this, I felt like it looked like I had chalk on my face. And I know a lot of people swear by it, and I tried it with a brush. I tried it with the little sponge that comes in here. But we're going to go with a brush today. Excuse me. Make sure I tap it off really good. And I'm just going to take this and kind of press it in the center where I tend to get a little shiny. But I have like the number 7 powder that I love. That It Cosmetics Pore Blurring. Or Bye Bye Pores, whatever it is. I really enjoy that one. Yeah, that's what I feel like this just doesn't do. Doesn't really do a whole lot for me. And then if I try to build it up, I get that chalk face. Because I'm still pretty glowy from that foundation. So let me press over everything with my sponge just to make sure everything's pressed in good. I have like a lipstick or a lip gloss that I don't like, but I do have this lip liner from Believe Beauty. And what I didn't like about it is just so creamy. I seem to make a mess with it, which could just be operator error, but I'm going to put this on. Let me wipe I had put on a little bit of lip oil before I started, so I want to give it a fair... Maybe it's dried out a little bit because it doesn't feel quite as creamy as I remember it. And I'm just going to top it with a little bit of gloss. This is my Lifter Gloss in Stone. Yeah, I feel like my pores definitely look better over on this side. But that is everything that I have to try. So what I'm going to do is take y'all outside and we'll take a look at everything. And then I will check back in a few hours. I just got finished filming, putting everything on, so I thought I would take y'all outside. And you can see, I don't love anything. Well, maybe the blush. But this is the side that has the blur stick. And then this is the side that has the marshmallow primer. And I don't know if this phone's going to pick it up, but this side looks a little bit better. But I just feel like this foundation emphasizes all of my texture. And I don't know if you can see the eyeshadow. This eye looks a little bit better where I did the NYX primer, but this one just looks terrible. And then the concealer, I don't know if I can get y'all close enough, but it's already creasing under here, and it just makes my eyes look older. I just feel like everything on my face today makes me look older. But I'll check back in a little while. Hey y'all, it's been about 4 hours, so I was coming back to give y'all kind of my final thoughts on everything and let you know if I've changed my mind or how everything's doing. I don't think it's coming across well, but I am pretty shiny. And this foundation is wearing off kind of weird and patchy in places. Now, I did have a hat on when I went outside earlier, so, you know, I'm giving the forehead a pass. But the eyeshadow I still don't love it. And then I don't know if y'all can see, but this mascara is actually smudging. And then my under eyes, it's really more under my lashes in this area, and then kind of in my crow's feet here. That concealer has just kind of gathered there. The blush is wearing off kind of patchy, but I almost want to blame that on the foundation, because I remember before when I used the e.l.f. putty blush, the reason I didn't like it was because I couldn't really get any color payoff. So I think using a different brush, I'm going to use it again with a different foundation that I actually know wears well, that I like, and see, what my thoughts are there. But I'm just real shiny, and like I said, this phone's not really doing it justice, but everything is shiny, and it's just wearing off weird in places, and it's only been like 4 hours, so I don't love that foundation. I might try to mix it with something more matte to see if that makes a difference. And this powder, the Covergirl powder, I don't feel like it did anything. The little WetnWild palette, this color just looks so terrible on my lids, but I do like this little satin white and the other shades in here. I like those pretty good, so I'll keep using that for those shades. I just won't use that in my crease. The Essence bronzing powder, it actually looked better today. I think scraping off that top layer helped with that. The color corrector, that I put over here, it's basically gone along with the concealer. They've just disappeared and settled right under my lashes. Putty blush, like I said, I'm going to try that again with a different foundation that I like. The highlighter, I just wasn't impressed with it. I think the Essence Pure Nude is better than this WetnWild. The marshmallow primer, I don't think it does anything. And when I've used my Maybelline Blur Stick in the past, I love that, and it has held up well and helped to blur my pores for a longer period of time with different foundation. I think this Urban Decay is just doesn't work good with my skin. And the mascara, this is only about the third time I've used it, and I do have some pretty bad smudging under here. I don't know if that's from the concealer or the foundation. Well, I didn't really put foundation under my eyes, but maybe it's from that concealer. I'm going to keep trying this, though. And then the lip pencil, I don't know if it's dried out or something, but now I have course, ate and drank, and I put on a tinted lip balm that's got SPF in it. I've reapplied that several times today, but you can see around the edges, that lip liner is still hanging on. And the last time I wore it, it just kind of wore off super fast. So I don't know if it's maybe dried out and it's a little bit better. But so a few things that I retried today, I will use again in the future. These 3 items for sure. I've changed my mind about those. I think, well, the putty blush, I'm gonna use it with a different foundation and see, because it just is wearing off kind of patchy. The putty eye primer, it just doesn't, it's not for me. Which I may try it again with a different eyeshadow that I actually like, but I don't know. It just didn't, it doesn't feel good on my lids. It feels dry. And I think that was it. Yeah, this concealer, I don't love it. The marshmallow primer, I don't love it. I've just felt kind of bleh today, and I just don't, I wish everything was coming across like the way that I see it in the mirror, because I look super shiny and textury, and my under eyes look super old. Is that better? I mean, I just feel like after 4 hours, I should look fresher. But yeah, those are kind of my final thoughts, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.